All right, what's going on, everybody? OGR's inaugural OGR's Big Blue Courtroom, and I want to welcome Baddog to the stream. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good, and it is an honor to be the first guest on,
honestly,
on the Big Blue Courtroom.
Out of whim, I just thought to ask you. Like, there was no planning on it. I didn't care who I brought on. I just wanted to announce this, and I was like, you know what? I'm pretty sure Baddog. I was Baddog's first on his channel when he did the Doghouse.
Yep.
So I was like, you know what? Why don't we pay it forward?
I appreciate it.
I'm going to ask you some quick questions. I might ask you the hard questions.
Gotcha.
But how'd you get, what made you come on YouTube? I think I know the story, but, not everybody in the chat does.
Yeah. So, back in 2007, it was about November. So maybe middle November, late November, somewhere in there. I was looking for like Giants highlights. YouTube was still pretty prehistoric at the time. And I really didn't know anything about making videos or anything. I just kind of found it. And I found this guy by the name of Cop Hizzle. And I started watching the videos and I'm like, this guy's talking about the Giants. I'm like, man, I would love to talk about the Giants. Like, this is what I'm born to do. And then I saw another guy by the name of J-Wad. And J-Wad and Cop Hizzle talk trash to each other. And J-Wad was really popular. And I said, man, I can talk trash as good as him, if not better. I got to get involved in this. And that's pretty much how it started. The next year, beginning of the year, I started doing videos, and the rest is kind of history. I cut my teeth in that TTC thing. And, I went away for a few years. And I guess according to some people are like, where's Baddog? When's Baddog coming back? Where's Baddog been? When's Baddog coming back? I didn't realize I had that kind of impact on it. And when I came back in 2014, it was for the same reason, because I watched Cop Hizzle's videos and I said, man, I'm ready to talk about the Giants again. So that's kind of how I got started.
So I just want to say hi to some people. I see Big Blue Jabroni. He's actually a brand new YouTuber, if you didn't know that. So go check him out. MH, LA Lou, Andy Garcia, Football Talk, Punkum, or Pumpkin, however you want to pronounce it.
Yes, Punk. My man.
So anyways, getting on a little bit farther. So what's your most favorite thing of being on YouTube, and what's your, least favorite thing of being on YouTube?
Favorite thing, definitely being able to work with other Giants content creators, being able to, do shows like this where you can talk with other Giants fans around the world and get their perspective on things. And then obviously talk football, especially with something like what's going on right now with this pandemic where you can't do anything publicly and hang out anymore. So it's just awesome to be able to interact with people, like this or in the chat, and just the live stream in general. I think has definitely been my favorite thing, to be able to call games, which is something was like a dream of mine. And I'll never accomplish that, but the closest thing I can do to it is call games on YouTube where I don't have to be, unbiased, and I don't have to be censored. I can let my emotions show and I can still call the game. So that's always a lot of fun. And then, obviously the things I hate the most are, there's just some people out there, for whatever reason, they get extremely jealous because of your success, and they just want to, talk crap about you. Not that I really care what they think, but still at the same time, it gets a little tiring after a while, just thinking to myself, why don't you grow your own channel? Stop worrying about what I do. I don't understand why you worry about me. I don't worry about what other people do, but it's that the trolls kind of make me laugh. That doesn't even really bother me, but it's just more so, I don't understand why people care what I do. I don't understand why people care what you do. I don't know. We're grown men. I would think you'd have other priorities. Like, I'm more worried about what I do on my channel, my wife, my son, that type of thing, other than, oh, why is that guy making that content? I don't like him making that content on his channel, so I'm going to say something. Like, I don't get that. But that's probably the part I think about it the most.
And, I kind of feel the way you do, honestly. I mean, I really don't care. Like, I've had people tell me, oh, you only have 500 subscribers. Why does anybody talk to you? It's just like, right. You know what? I don't care, bro. It doesn't bother me. Go ahead and troll me all you want. It doesn't matter.
You know what you tell them? You tell them, I got 500 more subscribers than you, buddy. Where are your videos at?
Yeah.
That's what you ask them.
No. Yeah. But moving on. I think we all have some tale about this, but all right. So first off, how'd you become a Giants fan? And second, what made you become like a Giant fan addict, like a really hardcore Giants fan?
My father and my grandfather were Giants fans. So much like the Yankees, we would go to games, not like that. We went to a lot of Yankee games. You could walk up to the ticket window a game day and pay $4 and sit in the right field seats of the bleachers. And you could go to a lot of games. We went to a lot of games. Just going to the games, I never forget the first time I kind of got interested in football was 1984. Yeah, I came out in the living room. My dad's laying down on the couch. It's September. And, he's just kind of hanging out there. He's got a Miller. He always drank Miller. He wasn't a big beer drinker, but he always drank Miller. I don't know why I remember that. But if he drank a beer, it was Miller. I have no idea why I remember that. But he's laying there and, in his khaki shorts, his tank top. I said, Dad, what are you doing? He's like, I'm watching the Giants. I'm like, can I watch you? He's like, yeah. He's like, sit right here. The first thing he told me is watch LT, watch number 56. Just watch number 56. So I started watching every week. I think I really got into it in 85. Like 84 is kind of spotty. I watched a few games. 85, I don't know what it was. I don't know what the switch was that just really turned me into a Giants fan. It might have been Lawrence Taylor, Leonard Marshall, that defense. I really don't know. I think I started playing sports in 85, and it started to give me a really competitive nature. So I started to really root for the teams that are, like the Yankees and Giants and Knicks. I just really got into all those teams. So I think it was because I played the sports, and all of a sudden my competitive nature came out, which I guess was always there because I'm still a competitive guy. So obviously I want my team to win. I wanted my New York team to represent the state that I lived in. And, that was pretty much it. I wanted to brag to my friends that, hey, my team beat your team. My team won the Super Bowl. My team won the World Series, whatever it is. I wanted to be able to, brag about it even in fifth grade. So I think that's how I became such a diehard. Now, my father was a diehard, but not like me. Like I was next level. Like I'm next level. My dad, God rest his soul, was a big fan, but not rabid like I am.
All right. So just want to say a quick shout out to Joe Yeto, Afghanistan, baby, yeah, Goose 76, Johnny T. You just scroll up here. New York Mets, Jersey Joe, and Ray Manfa. And Matthew Makakis. What's going on? And Christoph Porzingis. You can't super chat because I don't have 1,000 subscribers, so
we're gonna get you there.
That's why
we're gonna get you there. We're gonna get you there.
Yes, we're gonna try to get me there.
We're gonna get.
All right. So moving on to the next question. In your lifetime, because I think asking your most favorite player is easy. I think asking your least favorite player is probably easy. But what is in your lifetime? What is your most underrated Giants player? And what is your most favorite Giants moment?
Most underrated Giants player to me is Leonard Marshall. I think Leonard Marshall was fantastic. At 85, I think he had 83 and a half career sacks. I think he led the league in 85. I'm not sure. He had a big year in 85. Giants had 68 sacks that year. And I know he led the team in sacks. I think he led the league. I'm not positive about that. But he's always been extremely underrated. Doesn't get the credit he deserves. He had big moments for the Giants. I mean, obviously they hit on, Joe Montana in the 1990 NFC Championship game. He had a sack on Jim Kelly in the Super Bowl that year. Big Leonard just always seemed to be in the middle of it all in that 3-4 defense. Now, granted, LT may have had a lot to do with that, but still, the guy was a beast. He had a relentless motor, and he was a really good player that a lot of Giants fans never mention. Leonard Marshall when they're talking about the all-time greats. The all-time greats. I think Leonard Marshall definitely probably the most underrated player that I saw in my lifetime.
Before I get you into your favorite Giants moment, had a real quick question to ask. Oh, do you think he's a Hall of Famer?
No,
should be a Hall of Famer.
I think he's a borderline Hall of Famer, but I don't think he was dominant enough for long enough. I think from like 1985 to 1990 he was really good, and then he kind of fell off. So he wasn't good enough for long enough. Again, maybe a borderline guy, but definitely not a Hall of Famer. Jim Marshall's not a Hall of Fame.
I'll piggyback right off that. So what in term defines a Hall of Famer to you?
You have to have Hall of Fame seasons. You have to have a lot of Hall of Fame seasons and be consistent. Like a Hall of Fame season to me is a guy that has 12 sacks, like 6, 7, 8 times, like those types of guys, or the guys that just have dominant seasons, many seasons, or win the accolades. Like Lawrence Taylor was a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. He's an MVP at 20 and a half sacks. Things like that make you a Hall of Famer. or, you know, you're winning Super Bowls, like that type of thing. You're clutching the playoffs. All that stuff, I think, is, you know, goes into making somebody a Hall of Famer. And obviously the end game, you know, the statistics at the end of your career, I think that has a lot to do with it too. But I just don't think Leonard Marshall had enough, what I would consider Hall of Fame seasons to be a Hall of Famer. You know, I could tell you another underrated guy that does belong in the Hall of Fame is Tiki Barber. I don't know why Tiki Barber is not a Hall of Famer. I say this all the time, and I mean it. He's better than Emmitt Smith. The guy's better than Emmitt Smith. He's a better running back than Emmitt Smith. The guy didn't start till 2000. He retired in 2006. He had over 10,000 yards. He averaged almost 5 yards a carry in his career. His last 2 years, he ran up over 3,500 yards. In his last 3 years in the league, I think he had 7,500 scrimmage yards. The guy was ridiculously good and better than Emmitt Smith. I don't care what anybody says. Watch them play. Tiki Barber was a better running back. He belongs in the Hall of Fame. I don't know why.
I was never an Emmitt Smith fan, to be totally honest with you. Like, even when he was doing the things he was doing, I was never impressed because I knew the team he had around him. Yeah. But quick shout out to diehard Giants fan, Loud Superset 356, Kid Blue running back 27. So the other, I don't believe you answered the other question I asked, but I kept piggybacking off that other question was, what is your favorite Giants moment?
The 1990 NFC Championship game. The whole thing about that game, you know, we had no business beating them. We had no chance scoring to the media. We had backups in there. Hostetler was a backup. O.J. Anderson was a backup. You know, our defense was getting older. And we went in there, ended their three-peat. Obviously, Leonard Marshall with the huge hit on Montana. And I'll never forget, you know, Pat Summerall's call on Matt Barr's field goal. Matt Barr kicking the 5 field goals. The fake punt by Gary Reasons. I remember Maurice Carthon dropping a perfect option pass from Dave Megan in the end zone. Like, I remember that game like the back of my hand. I had so many bandwagon fans in school that were 49er fans. And, of course, 2 years later, they were Cowboy fans, these same people. So I didn't want to hear nothing about the damn 49ers. I was so sick of them. So to go in there, and, again, Barr kicks that, and I just remember Pat Summerall going, and the kick is good. There will be no three-peat. And I love it. That is my all-time favorite moment for the Giants. And
I actually, believe it or not, that's one of the few Giant moments I remember. Like, I know I was like, what, probably 6 at the time. So, like, it's one of the few Giants moments I do remember. And the only reason I remember that moment, because I was sitting in my mother room and I was watching Matt Barr kick the field goal. And my mother had somebody bought her a 49ers water bottle. And it was just sitting on the ground, and I kicked it.
You Matt Barred the
I Matt Barred the
very nice.
But so what's your least, like, what Giants moment haunts you the most? Like, I don't know, play or whatnot. I know for my dad that it wasn't the Flip Anderson one, it was the other one. Michael Strahan, we lost to the Rams. I believe it was either in the wild card round or divisional round. It wasn't the Flipper Anderson one.
Yeah, that haunts me.
And Michael Strahan was smiling after the game. And after that, he didn't take being a Giants fan as serious. This is a man at one time he was one of the first people to have a black and white handheld at a wedding. He went out and bought it just for the wedding so he could watch the Giants at the wedding. I'm pretty sure he was, you know, higher up in the wedding at that point too.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's good stuff right there. Definitely a 2008 loss to the Eagles. That was the best team I ever saw. And again, I'm old enough to remember 86. 86 was a dominant defense, but the offense was near the bottom of the pack. Phil Simms had a terrible year. They were able to run the ball with Joe Morris. They had a really good running game, and Morbarro had a good year. But other than that, they had a hard time scoring points, especially in the middle of the year. They struggled a lot, but they won because of their defense. So they weren't really a complete team. But that 08 team, you know, they ran the ball down your throat. They averaged 160 yards a game. Both Ward and Jacobs had over 100 or 1,000 yards on the ground. And Ahmad Bradshaw, you know, did his thing. They all averaged over 5 yards a carry. As a team, the Giants averaged 5 yards a carry. And, you know, Eli Manning was not spectacular, but he only threw 10 interceptions. You had Amani Toomer, you had Steve Smith, and you had Plaxico Burress. They were 11-1 before he shot himself, and they'd won 7 straight on the road or something. They'd beat a bunch of teams over 500, including the eventual Super Bowl champion Steelers. We beat the Eagles early in the year with Plaxico Burress. We kicked the hell out of Dallas that year. And then we lost to Dallas, and we lost to Philly without Plaxico Burress later in the year. And that'll always haunt me because I feel like we had a dynasty. I feel like that was a dynasty ready to happen. We should have won in 07, 08, in my opinion. Probably could have won in 09. We started 5-0 that year. If we have Burris, maybe we go. 2010, we had that horrible loss to Philly. We finished 10-6. Should have been the second seed that year. So there's a lot to be said. I really feel like that particular loss cost us a dynasty. So I'll never, the Flipper Anderson one kills me. 97 against the Vikings kills me. Chris Callaway can't handle the onside kick. And then, of course, blowing a 38-14 lead in San Francisco in the second half. That wasn't good either. But that Eagles one, that's the one that sticks with me the most. Of course, I hate the Eagles probably more than any other team in football. So that didn't help matters either.
Yes. So, I don't think people realize how knowledgeable of a Giants fan you are. I'm pretty sure. Now, I'm going to ask you some questions. I'm just going to name out random players, random years, statistics, and I know you know quite a bit. I don't think people realize how good your mind is when it comes to the Giants and how good are statistics you are. No. I've asked him, I'll start off with easy ones, and I'll get progressively harder. And some of these I know the answer to, some of these I don't. So, 86 leading rusher for the New York Giants.
Joe Morris.
86 leading sack leader. That's easy. 87 leading rusher for the Giants.
Oh God, 87 was. It's got to be. It's got to be Joe Morris again. I would imagine.
I would imagine too.
That was right.
Eli's first touchdown pass. Who did he throw to?
Shockey.
Eli Manning's last touchdown pass.
Slayton.
91 leading rusher. I don't know why I'm on the leading rusher.
91. That's got to be. God, when did we draft Rodney Hampton? It's got to be Rodney Hampton.
It's got to be Rodney Hampton because I'm pretty sure it's Rodney Hampton only because 1990 Rodney Hampton was supposed to be the starter.
Maurice he got hurt.
Backed him up, and then Otis Anderson was the one that ended up taking over.
It's got to be Hampton that year.
1981 starting quarterback.
Oh God. Phil Simms.
81?
Yeah, it's got to be Phil Simms. Phil Simms was drafted in 79, so Phil Simms had to be the starter in 81. He didn't finish the year, but he started the year at quarterback.
Nice.
I think Bruner finished the year, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that, but Simms definitely started in 81.
So pretty impressive. All right. So, obviously at this point, I'm going to open it up to the chat. Phenomenal job, Bad Dog. I love just kicking the tires, knowing where your memory goes. Cause you're one of the smartest Giants fans. You just you ask any Randy, cause I remember one time I was just randomly asking you stuff in chat and Tiki Barber, and you knew every Tiki Barber statistic. So
yeah, I don't know. My mind is good with numbers, but my wife will tell me something 2 days ago and I'll forget it. But what do you mean we're going to your mother's house? I told you that 2 days ago. I'm like, you did? That's just because my mind's full of numbers. I don't. Selective hearing, man. You husbands get that. You understand.
All right. So I'll open this up for question, guys. How long do you want to go, Bad Dog?
As long as you want to go, we're good.
So we'll go for about an hour. We're at 8:48, so 9:30. Sound good to you?
Good to me, man.
All right. Just gotta tighten this up. This friggin' mic has been bothering me. It's getting a little bit loose right here. I gotta figure that out.
Mine always loosens up too, and then I gotta tighten the screws on it a little bit.
This one's for me apparently. At OGR Sports or OGR Sports, who starts at outside linebacker for us? It's actually a pretty good question, but I'm gonna go with Jimenez and Carter. You?
I'm gonna say Jimenez and Fackrell. We'll see.
I got a quick question for you. If you had to get a Giants jersey right now, I know you have a Daniel Jones. I know you have a Saquon.
Because of you. Shout out to you for that.
Yeah.
There's the first guy on YouTube with the Daniel Jones jersey because of you. So shout out to you for that.
Yeah.
You're the man.
So who would be your next jersey choice?
McKinney is going to be the one I get.
Yeah.
Xavier McKinney. I got DJ and Barkley, and now it's time for McKinney. Always been a big safety guy. I used to have safeties Champion Outlet used to sell them for $5, and I'd always go in there and buy my favorite safety. One of my favorite jerseys was Steve Atwater.
All right, this one's for you. I have no idea what he's talking about, but Baddog thoughts on my strip.
I have no idea what he's talking about either. Good luck and God bless.
LA Lou. Obviously, both good supporters of ours. So, what would open the Giants? What you would be opening to the Giants reacquiring OBJ if the trade were a good one and you could thrive? And no, no for me. I don't care.
Yeah, we don't need him. Don't need the drama here. I mean, that's something that they wanted to get rid of. That's why they traded him to begin with. So, as awesome as it would be, and that'll always be in the back of my mind what he and Daniel Jones could do together. I don't know, man. I mean, people do change, but I wouldn't need Beckham back here. I wouldn't need him. He's too much money.
All right. Oops, wrong one. I always do that. Like it moves.
Right I do that too.
So, no, oh my God, I am just all off right now, throwing this off. All right, where was I? All right, there we are. Harrison Jolly, another good sport of mine. Saquon stats prediction OGR Sports. Why not me? Why can't Baddog answer? Me, you know what? I'll just go off cuff here. I'm gonna say similar to his rookie year. I'm gonna say 1,400 yards, 11 touchdowns. 600 yards receiving and another 5 touchdowns. So 15 total touchdowns and 2,000 total yards, basically. Oh, here we go. Johnny T. Baddog. Biggest non-division rival.
Oh, God.
I could say for the 80s.
Yeah, it was the Niners.
And then in the 90s, I would say it was the Vikings.
Man. That's a good question.
Right now, honestly, you know who I'd say? Because we've been so bad and the games have been actually relatively close and good. I would actually say the Chicago Bears because we've played them 3 straight years, and I believe this is going to be a 4th.
Yeah, that's a good one. It could definitely be the Bears. We both been pretty bad. Yeah, I never really think of rivals outside the division. I hate the teams in this division so much. I don't have any hate left for anybody else in the league. But yeah, the Bears is a good one because it does seem like we play them every season now. And obviously we beat them the year they went to the playoffs, which is nice because Barkley killed them. But yeah, I mean, I guess it would have to be the Bears. I really can't think of anybody else, off the top of my head.
All right. So I just wanted a big shout out to Butcher Block Patriot Talk.
Yeah,
that's a great dude right there. Love working with that dude when I had a chance and looking forward to working with him in the future.
He's great. Bobby's the man.
Nick wants to let you know he took a 2-hour nap before after the stream.
Yeah, Nick of the Wick was in my KBO stream this morning, so he was up early like me. I also took a nap today, Nick, so I feel you.
Ravon believes it's actually the 49ers with the playoff history.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, definitely, but we haven't really – since 2011, we really haven't had that rivalry. But yeah, I mean, for a long time that was always my favorite team to play outside of our division. Was the Niners. I love that rivalry between the two teams just because of the history between them. And again, growing up in the 80s like I did, I mean, that was a rivalry. They played some of the best games you'd ever want to see. They're fundamentally sound. They were smash mouth hard hitting defensive football games. And that's probably why I'm such a defensive guy. I grew up on that. Big shout out to Ravon from Virginia, one of my favorites right there. Ravon.
I've seen this one a couple times. Who do you think's going to start at center? I've answered this question numerous times. I forget what your answer is, but
hot take was Shane Lemieux.
All right, Shane with me. I mean, I said Nick Gates. I've said that. Another good supporter of mine, Ramadeer 81. What up, fellas? What's going on, my man?
Yes, sir.
I saw another question I wanted to ask, or I wanted to highlight here. Where is it? Did you take it down? All right, weird. Oh, there it is. Found it. Sports Expert 101, OGR and Baddog. What would you guys give up for Yannick Ngakoue? Me, I wouldn't give more right now. Before the draft, I would have said probably a second rounder, maybe a back half of the first rounder if we had it or something like that. But now, because because the Jaguars are stuck between a rock and a hard place. Third rounder, baby. That's it. I'm not giving him any special. Why would I? I got to pay the guy.
I wouldn't give anything. I just sign him next year. Don't repeat the Leonard Williams situation. The guy's going to be a free agent next year, and you're going to have to pay him if you trade for him. So just pay him without
absolutely.
Give up a compensatory pick, but don't give up anything else.
Ken Zong says, can Carter Coughlin sneak in some sacks? Depends how he isn't used in the rotation. I mean, it's certainly possible. I'm rooting for him because he's a Big Ten guy, and I love Peter Fleck, and I love what he's doing at Minnesota. So yeah, I'm a big Carter Coughlin guy, and I definitely want to see him get in that rotation. But honestly, that rotation right now is going to be deep. You have Carter, you have Jimenez, obviously you have Carter, you have Fackrell, you have possibly Golden coming back. So it's going to be tough for him to get in there. He's going to have to do a lot of proving, and he's going to have to make his name on special teams.
Agreed. Yeah, it's going to be hard to find snaps if everybody's healthy for Carter Coughlin.
Don't know which one he does. Does he mean this year or does he mean in total? Giants leading TFL and interceptions. Does he mean this year or just all time? I do not know.
I'm guessing this year. I wouldn't know. I mean, interceptions all time. I know is Emlyn Tunnell, but tackles for loss, I couldn't tell you. Got to be LT. I don't know who else it would be. But this year,
maybe Strand or another linebacker.
Yeah. This year,
I
said DeAndre Baker initially. He's not going to play all year. He's going to get suspended, I would imagine.
You really think he's going to get suspended?
I do. I mean, they suspended Ezekiel Elliott for 6 games. He was found innocent or whatever that he was accused of. Now, of course, he had a much longer track record, but I don't know. Usually you do something like that and you get, I don't know. He was my hot take. I thought he was going to have a big year. I'd probably go with Jabril Peppers. And I'll go with Jabril Peppers again for tackles for loss, honestly.
Nice. I have a tendency to agree with you. I don't know what it is about Jabril Peppers. I can't even pronounce that. What team other than the Giants could be a sleeper this year?
I've been on the Cardinals bandwagon since they traded for Hopkins. I think that's your sleeper in the NFC. I'm
going to go with a random team because there's a lot of pressure on this team to succeed. I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions.
Definitely a sleeper. You don't have the Corona tonight, I see. Usually have the Coronas working.
Somebody wants to know how well do you think Baker will do this year? Well, if he's going to be suspended, not very well. So
yeah, I mean Afghanistan. He was my pick to play. Like he was going to be my surprise on defense. Like I thought he'd take the biggest step forward. I thought you would see him play a lot better because of the coaching staff. Felt like they would use him more in man-to-man press coverage, which obviously was known for Georgia, not that soft zone that Betcher had him playing where he was completely confused. And I also thought that this coaching staff would put a boot in his ass and, get him going. I still think that he'll have a good season if he plays. I feel like sometimes something like this, a harrowing experience can straighten a guy out and make him realize what he has. And sometimes that'll make him work harder. Of course, if this is just the type of person he is, nothing's going to help. But I still think he's too talented to give up on. I still think he could have a really good impact for the Giants.
All right, Dire Giants fan wants to know what Giants player needs to improve basically most on the defense, or the one that has to show the biggest improvement. For me, I mean, I know a lot of people want to hear Leonard Williams, but for me, it's O'Shane. I want O'Shane to take that next big step and be that dominant pass rusher I think he can be.
Yeah, me, it's Baker. I still think DeAndre Baker is the key to this. I mean, we traded up to get him in the first round. Our secondary was weak last year. It was really weak, and obviously we still don't have a great pass rusher. So it's going to come down to those corners, and DeAndre Baker is going to have to take a massive step forward. We play very tough wide receivers, this year, so he's going to have to be really good.
All right, quick shout out to Rayvon from Virginia. Awesome trash talker, and Todd Dumont, another good subscriber of mine.
Yes.
Logic Talker, this one says, do you guys miss Odell in the field? Hell no with me.
No, not really. I mean, like I said, there'll always be that in the back of my mind thinking, man, how would he have done with Daniel Jones? Knowing Daniel Jones can extend plays with his legs, but at the same time, he was a big-time headache, and we didn't win when he was here, and now he's getting $19 million a year, so I don't think I really miss him,
All right. This one's definitely for you. Baddog, better playoff run, 07 Giants or 96 Yankees?
The '07 Giants. They were a wild card team. Nobody expected them to get out of the first round, and they beat 4 division champions all on the road and then beat the 18-0 Patriots. The 96 Yankees were getting ready to win a World Series. They had the best record in 94 before the strike. They lost to heartbreakers. That's the most heartbreaking loss I've ever had as a sports fan, that 95 loss to Seattle. That broke my heart in pieces. They won the division that year, and I felt like they were set up for success that year for sure. Andy Pettitte had a huge year in 96. And obviously beating the Braves, we were underdogs there. And after the first 2 games, it didn't look good. But that '07 Giants playoff run, I don't think you'll see a better one by any team in the NFL. That was just amazing what they did. The combined record of those 4 teams that they beat was 51-13. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, you're talking about teams that won 85% of their games. We went on the road and beat every single one of them. So, and I loved every minute of it. Let me tell you that right now.
All right. This one's for you because I answered this for Big Blue Jabroni on Hub's stream when I was on earlier. He asks, who do you think has more touchdowns for the tight end, Ingram or Smith?
I mean, if Ingram's healthy, I think it's going to be Ingram. Problem is he's not usually healthy. I definitely think Caden Smith have a really good year. We saw the chemistry between he and Daniel Jones the last 4 games. Caden Smith had like 28 catches or something the last 4 games of the season. And we watched him burn Landon Collins for the game winner, which has always made me smile because I hate Landon Collins. But I got to go Evan Ingram. I just feel like with Jason Witten's offense, I think you're going to see Evan Ingram be a massive part of this. And I'm assuming he's staying healthy. So
I didn't earlier. I said Smith.
I understand him.
Oh yeah. Over under 6.5 sacks. BJ Hill.
Under. He's not going to get that many. I wish it was over, but he's not going to get enough snaps to get 6.5 because it's going to be Dalvin Tomlinson and it's going to be Dexter Lawrence and it's going to be Leonard Williams. BJ Hill is going to be in there for depth, and he took a big step back. I can't see him getting that many sacks.
Was the 2017 wild card game to the Packers a big heartbreaker loss for you guys? For me, it was a heartbreaker knowing that the team, had we not had the injuries going into the second half, we held Aaron Rodgers down. And then guys just didn't step up that like we were used to in previous years, like 07 and 2011. And that's the biggest thing. And that's why I kind of felt the Giants being on the downturn after that game. And plus the team wasn't very good that year. I mean, we were lucky to be 11-5 for the amount of close games we were in. So Baddog, your comments on that?
Yeah, we played an extremely weak schedule that year. Didn't beat a team by more than 10 points. And I believe that was the winless Browns. And the reason we even won by that much was because JPP picked off a pass, ran it back for a touch. And the offense was bad. Whenever we did play a good team, we got our asses handed to us. I remember the Steelers beat us up pretty good. We swept the Cowboys that year. That was the big thing. But that Packers team was better than us, and we missed opportunities. I mean, we dropped touchdowns. Shepard dropped one. Beckham dropped one. We should have been up like 17 or 21-0 in that game. It would have been completely different. What I think happened is the defense finally just gave out. They were exhausted because that offense didn't do anything, and they were on the field all year, I think. And then, of course, the Hail Mary for the half broke our backs, and we just never recovered. I don't think that was a heartbreaking loss because we lost to a better team, and it wasn't really – we were never really in that game. So, it sucked, but I wouldn't say that was I wasn't really heartbroken by it because I thought we'd be better next year, too. I was like, well, you know what? We improved. And we'll be better the next year. Obviously, it didn't happen.
Yeah, and I know a lot of Giants fans predicted, a really good record that year, and we had probably the most disappointing Giants season I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Yeah, oh God, yeah.
So somebody asked, without fans in the stands, do you think it's home field advantage? I'll preface that by saying I heard today that they're talking about, at least the Buffalo Bills are talking about allowing 25% of the fans that would normally fill the stadium in and separating that way. And then on top of that, who are they giving the tickets to? Because you have obviously season ticket holders. So that's like a 3-parter right there that I turned a 1-parter into a 3-parter. So
yeah, that's tough. Dallas is also doing the same thing as far as I know. It might be first come, first serve for season ticket holders, or maybe they don't give away season tickets this year. Maybe it's just first come, first serve for the entire thing. And as I said last night, doing talk of Giants, I don't think it's so much the guys in the stadium. It's how do you stop the tailgating? That's where you're going to have your congregations. I mean, you're going to tell people they can't tailgate. So as far as home field advantage, it's going to hurt some places like Seattle. That's a massive home field advantage.
KC is a huge home field advantage.
Yep. Things like that. Lambeau Field, New Orleans. But MetLife Stadium, I never thought that was a big home field advantage for us. Honestly, the biggest advantage we have there is the weather, not so much the fans. I never felt like we now that old Meadowlands Stadium, that was a home field advantage. That place used to rock. The acoustics were much better, and it's just like the old Yankee Stadium. They build these new stadiums, and the way they build them, the acoustics just aren't the same. And your clientele, your fans aren't the same. They go to the games and do other things now rather than watch them. So
yeah,
I don't know. These state-of-the-art stadiums kind of kill.
Although I will say this, even though we lost that game, I enjoyed the atmosphere. Maybe it was just meeting all the Giants fans, getting to meet you and whatnot. But being at MetLife this year, I don't know, it just felt awesome.
We had great seats. That helped too. And yeah, getting to meet everybody and hanging out before the game. And the game was it was a good game. It's not like we got blown out or the Jets got blown. I mean, it was a good game. It was back and forth. Daniel Jones had a big game, and that was it was a lot of fun to watch. I mean, it was a good game. It's too bad we lost, but yeah, I think a lot of that had to do with meeting you and meeting Entertainment, meeting Kid Blue and everybody else, meet the Mets Bones, Gangrene David. That was a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to doing that again for sure. So I think that definitely had a lot to do with it. The atmosphere is just being able to hang out with you guys and actually watch the game and meet you guys in person, have a beer with you. That was awesome.
Logic Talker, obviously you're clearly a very big Odell fan. So I'm going to say Amani Toomer. Actually, he's one of my favorite Giants wide receivers of all time. So yeah, Amani Toomer for me. I mean, I'm not. Odell had 3 good years with the Giants. If Odell had another 4 or 5 years like that with the Giants, yeah, maybe we'd be talking to a different wide receiver. But he had 3 great years. Does 3 great years outseed what Amani Toomer did for the Giants? Hell no. Amani Toomer stepped up in big games. Obviously, the catch down the sideline in Dallas. So for me, Amani Toomer all day. I don't know about Baddog.
No, it's Amani Toomer. He's the greatest receiver in the history of our franchise. He had big catch. He had the big catch. I remember a huge catch he had against the Packers in the 2007, divisional or the NFC Championship game where somehow he laid out perpendicular and tapped his toes in bounds. He had a big catch against Denver to end their 13-0 season in 1998 with, I believe, Kent Graham throwing him the pass. So, it's just it might have been Danny Cannell. I always get I don't remember if it was Cannell or Graham in 98. It really doesn't matter because neither one of them are good. But Toomer always came up big for us. He kind of reminds me. I always acclimate Amani Toomer to Bernie Williams, a guy that was just really good but really underrated. He just was a professional guy. He was a quiet guy. He was a good teammate. Did his thing, never made noise, and always came up big when you needed him to. So I loved Toomer, no doubt about it.
All right, here's a question for you. Who do you think is going to make a bigger impact, Risnan John or Derek Dillon?
I mean, I would go Derek Dillon for the simple fact when you run a 4-2-8, you can do a lot more things than Rice and John, who's just big. I think Rice and John it probably ends up being a tight end if he makes the team. I don't know how great his route tree is as a wide receiver. I do believe that he's playing tight end or practicing tight end. But Derek Dillon being a 4-2-8 guy, I feel like the Giants could use him like a Tavon Austin. You can use him on jet sweeps. You can use him out of the slot. You could line him up in the backfield. You can use him as a kick returner. There's a lot of things that Derek Dillon can do that Rice and John can't. So I would say that I think Dillon would have a bigger impact than Rice and John.
A lot of people have brought up the sack number. I know both of us feel that it's going to be more by committee, but people want to know more sacks, Zimenez or Fackrell.
Last night I said I think Fackrell could lead the team in sacks, but Zimenez, look, I don't want. This is the thing. Lorenzo Carter and Zimenez are so similar to me, and Carter had such a good rookie season, and I expected him to take that massive leap forward, and he regressed. I don't want to get so high on Zimenez and then have him do the same thing that happened to Carter. Yeah, because I feel like Zemenis could have double-digit sacks. I felt like Carter could have double. I picked Carter to lead the team in sacks last year. So I'm hoping Zemenis does. I'm hoping Zemenis doesn't fall off. He does get more snaps. But we'll see. But just out of the blue, I was just like, Fackrell. I felt like he'd be in that Marcus Golden type of role this year. So,
I can see that. Kane Zong wants to know the deepest position on the team. I'm going to go secondary.
As far as talent goes, it has to be the secondary. I mean, we have a ton of linebackers. I just don't know how talented they are. So yeah, I'd have to agree with you. I'd go secondary on that one.
All right, Dyer Jonathan has an interesting question. If we start 4-2 with our losses being San Fran and Dallas, what do you guys think are the chances to make the playoffs?
If we start 4-2, we're going to the playoffs. We're going.
All right, we go start 4-2, and our losses are Dallas and whatnot. See, we can't lose to Dallas again. That's right. The thing. Like we'd have to, at that point, you have to beat Dallas. I believe there's obviously winnable games like the Bengals, the Redskins twice.
Yep.
That probably puts us at 8 wins, and then we have to get 1 or 2 more wins going down the stretch to possibly be 10-6. Yeah, if we start 4-2, we're going to the playoffs.
That's what I think. Absolutely.
Unless we totally fall apart, which I just don't see Joe Judge happening.
Again, we'll get better as the year goes on. So if we start 4-2, I think that we will make the playoffs. Because I think if they ever ended up 10-6, even 9-7, I think we'll win this division. So they'd only have to go 5-4, in my opinion. As long as they beat the divisional teams, we can win the division.
Ken Zong says we're not losing to the Cowboys. We'll see about that. Obviously, we can hear the youngin being up a little too late.
Yeah. Oh God, mine won't go to bed for another hour. How old is your youngin there?
My youngin's 3.
Same age as mine. There you go. Same age as mine. Mine just turned 3 a month ago. A month ago. But
Calvin, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thinking other teams outside the division will put a dent into the Cowboys this year. All right, that's possible.
Oh God, yeah, Calvin. I don't think there's any doubt. Every team in this division has a very tough schedule. The AFC North and the NFC West are the 2 toughest divisions in football. Then you add, because Philadelphia gets a first place schedule, they get the Saints and the Packers. Okay, those are very tough teams. Dallas gets the Falcons and the Vikings. So it's not like they have pushovers outside of the teams that we all play. That's why I've been saying the team that has the best divisional record is probably going to win the division.
Absolutely. I felt that way the whole time because you just look at the NFC West and you're like, okay, what games do the Dallas? Who does Dallas beat outside there?
Cardinals.
Because every team's a question. Maybe because I have no respect for the Rams anymore. I just fully have lost the respect for the Rams. I think the Rams finished last in that division. I see, the Cardinals taking a jump forward like a lot of people expect. I see Seattle being relatively the same, if not better. And then obviously we all know what we're going to get in the San Francisco 49ers. So, how many rushing TDs will Daniel Jones have this year?
3.
I'll go 5. And I'll say
He actually could have more because I think you're going to see Jason Garrett use him more in that role. So he could have 5. He could have 6.
And you know what? To add on to that, I'll say 3 are within the 20-yard. I'll say 3 are within the 5-yard line. 5. Goal to go. I'll say 1 is 20 plus, and I say 1's 30 plus.
Oh man, I would love to see him break a 30-yard touchdown. Be going crazy. That'd be
oh my God. Imagine if it just opens up something against I really like somebody like the Eagles. Like underestimated.
That'd be the best.
Takes off and goes.
Yep. That would be the best. That'd be the best.
Somebody wants to know, when did I become a Giants fan and my favorite player? Now, Johnny T, do you mean favorite player all time or do you mean favorite player right now? Because favorite player right now is Saquon. My favorite player all time is Lawrence Taylor. And when I became a Giants fan from the womb.
There you go.
Literally carrying a flag now.
There you go. Pretty much.
As far back as I can remember. I mean, honestly, that's honestly a question to ask my dad, and you'll never get a chance to ask him. So, Apparently, I'm in for a big surprise saying LA Lou.
Yeah, LA likes what the Rams did in the draft. I'm just not a big Jared Goff guy myself, but the Rams are one of them teams that I'm just kind of indifferent. Like I don't know what to expect from them. Like they could take a step back or they could be competitive. I really don't know what to think of the Rams. I really don't. I don't know what they're going to be this year. I really don't. I do have them beating us though. I know that.
Oh, somebody wants to know. Oh, will Ronald Zermont make the roster?
I didn't even know he's on the roster. So no,
I didn't even know he's on the roster either.
He's not on the roster.
Favorite player since Strahan.
Favorite defensive player since Strahan? When did he retire? Oh, Tuck. It's got to be Justin Tuck.
See, I just don't want to pick Justin Tuck.
First guy that came to mind for me because Lord knows our defense has sucked for years.
I'm going to go Antonio Pierce. Even though it's like right around the same time.
Right.
Or I actually know who I actually did like a lot too. Only because the Boston College guy right up the road. Matthias Kiwanuka.
Yeah. It was good. Kiwi.
Dyer Jarvis says, I would love to see Rojas kick a 64-yard field goal to beat the Eagles.
Oh, God. That would be amazing, Dyer Giants fan. Yes. Stick it back to him one time.
You know, I just want to beat the Eagles in devastating fashion. Like, absolutely devastating fashion. And the problem is, the only way we're going to do that is, maybe we're having a tough year. We go into the link and we embarrass them because we don't play them at the end of this year like we usually do, so we can't really eliminate them from the playoffs.
Right.
So, I mean, we'd have to literally thoroughly embarrass the Eagles, which, hey, I'm not against. Give me 2 seconds, Baddog. Yes,
I know how this goes. I have the children myself.
I just needed her to grab my charger out of
gotcha.
my bedroom. I have to charge my phone.
I got one of them too. Yes, sir.
Here's a good one. I haven't heard this one in a while. How many kick or punt returns will we have?
Well, how many kick, punt, return touchdowns? We're going to have one. We'll have one.
I'll go over one. I'll say 3.
Wow.
And I'll say, I'll be real bold. I'll do a real bold take. If everybody loves their bold takes. Not hot takes, bold take. There's a difference. Hot takes, you're just trying to heat everybody up. Bold takes, it's just fun. I'm going to say opening kickoff, Corey Coleman goes for a touchdown.
Wow. Start the year off.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Favorite Giant jersey color?
The color rush.
Yeah, same here.
Yep.
That's
I didn't wear mine tonight. I thought about it, but I did not wear that tonight.
The Phillies Ace says, still a bad dog. I know the answer, but I have to ask you anyway. Would there be any chance that Sanders could outshine Barkley, not being a homer, just looking at it objectively? Fly, Eagles, fly. Love y'all.
No, not a chance. Not a chance. Saquon Barkley is head and shoulders better than Miles Sanders, and Jason Garrett's the guy that's going to run him, a lot. Where I think the Eagles are they do a lot of that running back by committee. Now, I think Miles Sanders will have a good year, but he's not going to be Saquon Barkley.
Exactly. And then the Phillies Ace, I'm going to say this to you. If you know the great state of Pennsylvania, you would know that Miles Sanders is actually the higher rated player coming out of high school. Penn State thought higher of Miles Sanders than they did Saquon Barkley. And Saquon Barkley beat out Miles Sanders. I'm just saying. And you know what? And you know why I know that? Because I'm a Penn State fan, and I watch Penn State every week.
There you go.
Saquon has the potential to be the GOAT. It's just facts.
There.
I talked about this today, but I want to get your opinion. Onside kick or 4th and 15? I personally want the 4th and 15 because I think the 4th and 15 is easier to do than an onside kick.
Yeah, I mean, if they went back to the old rules of the onside kick, I always thought those were exciting. But the way they set it up now, you got no chance. So 4th and 15. And we all know if Pat Shurmur was our coach, we'd be running on that play, but we don't have to worry about that. But I would go 4th and 15 myself.
And you also don't have Odell on the hands team to ruin the game for you.
Right.
So OGR Sports, Bad Dog, do you think Tiki should be a Hall of Famer? I'm going to say no, but I know Baddog is going to say
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely. Hall of Famer should be in there right now. Absolutely. He's got over 10,000 yards rushing in his career. He has over 15,000 yards from scrimmage, and he averaged 4.7 yards a carry. I know he didn't win a Super Bowl, but still, I mean, the guy was one of the best running backs in football from 2000 to 2006. I don't know how he's not in there. He's got very similar numbers to Terrell Davis. The difference is Davis won 2 Super Bowls. Tiki never played in one. So I think he is a Hall of Famer.
Besides like the obvious people like Peyton Manning or maybe Eli in a couple years, and yes, Eli's obvious to me. Do you think there's like a slow time here and that they look at Tiki a second time and say, well, we're going to put you in? And who does the speech for Tiki Barber?
I think eventually Tiki does get in. I think, well, I don't know. I mean, he pretty much ran these guys over. I would say Coughlin, but he didn't speak highly of Coughlin. Man, that's a good question. I honestly don't know.
I mean, I have a person in mind, and he already is a Hall of Famer, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. I don't know.
I'm either gonna say Strahan or Rondé Barber.
Oh yeah, Rondé would probably do. Yeah, that's a good call. That's a good call.
Do you think Eli will be a first ballot? Giants Alliance? No, I do not think Eli will be first ballot. I think Eli probably gets second, third year in.
I'm gonna say he does. I think he should. He's one of 5 quarterbacks to win 2 Super Bowl MVPs. He's top 10 in every major passing category there is. His last name's Manning. It's all politics. He should be well, I guess it depends on who's on the ballot with him, but I think he should be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Honestly, I can't think of who would go over him on that ballot. I don't think it's going to be a strong ballot when he goes in.
So he should go first.
I mean,
like if Rivers and Roethlisberger went the same time he did, it might be more difficult. What quarterback retired last year that's going to go to the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Absolutely. Heartstorm Media. Shout out to you. A very good channel. Very underrated channel. You know, more just media, but he is a huge Giants fan, and he challenged me to do my top favorite Giants. And I actually got flack for that video because I did it in the era that I grew up in. And people, thought I should put like people like Pat Summerall on it. And I'm not, knocking the greats, but I didn't watch
10 favorite Giants. How can Summerall be one of your favorite Giants when you knew him in the booth?
Yeah.
I can't see him. But yeah, I am going to do that video eventually. Like I said, there's probably going to be a couple guys in there that people are going to be like, how is he one of your favorite Giants? Just because he is. This is my favorite. I don't think it's the best. I did a top 10 who I think are the top 10 best Giants of all time. I did that list. I did that a while back. I think I did that a year and a half ago or something. But
I got a Giant will make you laugh. I'm going to say Rocky Thompson makes the list.
For me? No.
Yeah.
Rocky Thompson, Ron Dane, Homer Jones. No, those guys are making a list.
My dad said he always used to remember like Rocky Thompson to go to like receive the punt and just get blasted. He'd never call a fair catch.
Yeah. Like Phil McConkey did the same type of thing.
I think we answered this on the round table, but who do he asked me, but I'm going to ask you because it's more or less you because it's obviously the big boy courtroom. Who do you think is going to be the captains on the team this year? Obviously, one's going to be Saquon. So
yeah, I think Saquon's a captain. Maybe Jabril Peppers is a captain. I mean, we're such a young team, man. It's crazy. I mean, Daniel Jones will probably be a captain. He's quarterback. He's your franchise quarterback. Nate Solder, probably. He's been around a long time. Maybe a guy like, Zach Mayo on special teams. I honestly don't know, but those are I see Starob said Butch Wolfork because that's like just before my time, that running back there. I came in with the Rob Carpenter era, so I don't remember if Wolfork was there in '84. I know he wasn't there in '85. I remember Carpenter, Morris, Lee Roussan, Hey, I remember those guys being there.
All right. So DePhilly's Ace wants to know, because I love when he asks questions, to be honest with you. OGR, if Wentz stays healthy, do you think we win another division title this season? And can the Giants beat out Dallas for second if Danny Dimes has a great season? I'll tell you this. My thought on the Eagles are you guys have the best starting 22. Your depth at almost every position is not solid except for maybe wide receiver, and even then it's questionable. At running back, you're okay. But the problem is you are a veteran-laden team that has a tendency to get injured, not to mention your quarterback can't stay healthy. So, yes, if Carson Wentz stays healthy and you guys have a similar season to next season or last season where you go 9-7, maybe 10-6, yes, you should win the division because you have the best starting 22. Does that mean on paper? No. And you know you're going to have a dogfight with the Giants, the Dallas Cowboys, and the Redskins. As much as we love to laugh at the people in our division, our toughest opponents are in the division because they know us the best. Even the Giants, for even a half or even 4 quarters, give you a fight. And you were this close to losing that game last year. Yeah. And a better Giants team, maybe we beat you this year. But on paper, I should win.
Better coaching staff this year. But that's one thing that Philadelphia has a massive advantage over every other team in this division. Their coaching staff is the same. Every other team in this division has a completely different coaching staff. Every one of them. New head coaches, new coordinators. And obviously they can't work with their players because of the pandemic. So the Eagles definitely have a familiarity that the other 3 teams in this division do not have. And they know the playbook. And these guys and the other 3 teams have got to learn the playbook. So I think the Eagles have the advantage. I do have them winning this division. But I don't think you're blowing the doors off of anybody. And like I said, I think 9-7 could win this division again easily. And whoever wins the divisions get knocked out in the first round of the playoffs. I don't think anybody's going past there. And I think any one of these teams can win the division, to be honest with you. If one of these teams is 5-1 in the division, they're winning the division.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That includes Redskins. We know they're not going 5-1 because we beat them twice every year.
What one position do you think needs to be bolstered more than others?
Pass rush.
Yeah, I would say that too. Slava Bakri Rob, what up, OGR? Bad Day Dizzle.
What's going on, Robbie?
I'm not reading the rest of it. Smidgey, Smizzle, and whatnot.
Bad diggity, riggity, smiggity, dizzle, dazzle, dog.
Oh, man. There's one more question I was digging at. Oh, Defensive Rookie of the Year. Do you think Xavier McKinney can become Defensive Rookie?
Yes, I do. It's going to be a long shot because Chase Young is obviously the favorite. But as I said last night, Chase Young's a Redskin, so you know he's going to be a bust. So, yes, McKinney can win Defensive Player of the Year.
All right. I didn't get to watch your Trevor Lawrence video, and I'm disappointed I didn't. But people keep asking the Trevor Lawrence debate. So what did you say in that video that makes us think that we are going to get Trevor Lawrence?
Oh,
and then I'll give my thoughts.
So this wasn't really that I think we're going to get Trevor Lawrence. Somebody asked that question, if the Giants pick first overall, could they take Trevor Lawrence? And I said, that's not as far-fetched as people may think. People think, we got Daniel Jones. What are you talking about? Well, if we're picking first, this is pretty much what I said. If we're picking first, Dave Gettleman's fired. We're 2-14. He's gone. Well, then the new GM comes in here. And as you know, new GMs usually want their own players. And you start all over again, which is why you and I have been an advocate of I don't care what they do. Gettleman needs to stay here so that you have stability within your organization. Because if another guy comes in here, what ties does he have to Daniel Jones? Be like, I don't want that guy here. He may be good, but Trevor Lawrence is sitting out there. I like Trevor Lawrence better than I like Daniel Jones. So I'll trade Daniel Jones, just like the Cardinals did with Josh Rosen, because they didn't even change GMs. They traded up to get Josh Rosen. They gave up a 7th and a 3rd round pick to move 5 spots to get Josh Rosen. Then Kingsbury came in there. They picked first overall, and he said, I want Kyler Murray. I don't care if we took a quarterback the year before. And guess what? They traded Rosen, and they drafted Kyler Murray. So while I don't think that's probable at all, because I don't think we are picking first under any circumstances, but in the slight chance that we did pick first, Gettleman ain't here. And that's why I said that there's a possibility, because another GM may say, I'm not passing up Trevor Lawrence. I want him to be my quarterback, because obviously your quarterback's the most important part. So if a GM's job is relying on the quarterback and this new GM says, My job's relying on a quarterback. Well, I think that I have better job security with Trevor Lawrence and Daniel Jones. You could take them. That was pretty much what I said in the video.
Man, should I record that and then put that up for another video on my channel? Because that was a mouthful and I loved every minute of it. But no, all that being said, you're absolutely right. And if that would just mean we had a horrific season and the Giants decided to go into another direction, and I would be sickened by it. I'd be sickened by it because honestly, I don't care how bad of a season we have. I mean, obviously I'm going to be disappointed, but at the end of the day, we've got to finally stick with something. Like, you cannot keep hiring and firing and then expect change. You can't, because the next GM, he's going to want to take his guy. Mm-hmm. How about if Joe Judge is like, you know what? I love Daniel Jones. You know, if we did have a bad season, maybe he's like sticking up for Daniel Jones. Didn't have a bad season. It's not his fault. We don't need it. We need to take the best player in the draft to help us win at that point. And maybe you have some, you know, topsy-turvy there, because you're not going to fire Dave Gettleman and Joe Judge.
Right.
What would you said about us? You know, everybody says that, you know, Joe Judge was too young and maybe he shouldn't have been the guy, even before they knew who Joe Judge was. And he became, you know, people were enamored by what he's saying now. But, you know, don't forget what Stephen A. Smith said. Now, obviously he's not the best people to point at, but he did bring up decent points. And I mean, I'm hoping that Joe Judge proves everybody wrong, to be totally honest with you.
Yep.
But honestly, it's just, I want the Giants to have at least a 6-7 win season, if not better, because it means Dave Gettleman keeps his job. We keep continuity on this team, and we have some hope going forward. And I think a lot of Giants fans next year, especially next year, will pick playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I just look at the Knicks. The Knicks have changed personnel for the last 20 years. They turn over 8-9 players every year on the roster. They have a new coach every other year. They get a new GM every other year. They got a new president every other year. They got a new assistant. I mean, and they have done nothing. They're sitting there and they just continue to sink because nobody wants to come here. And that's the problem. When you have an organization that's dysfunctional, your best head coaching candidates are going to come here thinking that the GM is going to be fired in 2 years, or that they're going to get fired in 2 years and they take over a bad situation, which is why we ended up with Pat Shermer, because nobody else wanted to coach here. It's the same thing in the Knicks. You're not getting Kevin Durant. You're not getting Kyrie Irving. They don't want to come here. It's dysfunctional. So you end up with Julius Randle. That's what the Knicks have been for 20 years. And if the Giants continue to just keep, you know, churning GMs and coaches in and out of here every 3 years, nobody wants to come and play for an organization like that. So they have to figure that the hell out and say, you know what? Like you said, OGR, this is the second year of a rebuild. You rebuild with a quarterback. You don't rebuild with a running back. In 2018, David Gettleman was told rebuild and win at the same time. Well, if you're trying to win, you can take a running back. If you're trying to rebuild, you're taking a quarterback. I'm glad they didn't take Darnold. I hate Darnold. But I agree. It's second year of rebuild. Gettleman needs to stay on here.
Yep, I agree. And thanks for the shout out there. I've said that for quite some time now, so I appreciate that. Somebody said something interesting. But either way, guys, we've been probably going for about an hour. You know, I want to thank Baddog for coming on. He didn't have to, but he did, and I definitely appreciate that. I love everybody coming in and, you know, coming in here and being productive in the conversation. It really does help. And Baddog, I'll let you close it out.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on here, man. I'll obviously be looking forward to your future guests, but I'm glad I could be the first one on here. I love working with you. You know, obviously we're trying to get this guy to 1,000 subscribers. So if you're not subscribed, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. You got to get this man to 1,000 subscribers. He works hard. He deserves it. He's a damn good Giants fan. I got to meet this guy, hang out with him. That was awesome. Hopefully we can do it again this year. That'd be great. Hopefully allow fans in there. But, you know, and as always to the chat, you know, thank you everybody that showed up, asked your questions. And again, like OGR said, it makes it a lot easier when there's guys in there with productive questions that make the stream a lot more fun than just, yeah, Giants stink, you know. So we appreciate you guys. No, OGR, I appreciate you having me on, my man. So thank you very much and continued success in your channel. Like I said, we're going to get you to 1,000. It's right around there.
And I appreciate it. But you know what? 1,000 would be nice, but honestly, it's more or less a sense of community. The sense of community is a lot better than just whatnot.
You're just going to get you a bigger community. That's all. That's all we're doing.
All right, guys. For me and Baddog, I am gone. Peace.
There you go.